I apologize, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. This is day 7 of 31 days of lupus awareness, inspiration, and motivation. And today's inspiration comes from page 281 of the book that I've been sharing with you, Fragrance After Rain by Dr. Jaiya John. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Oh, before I start, I do encourage you to go back and watch the previous 6 days. Some of the stuff I spoke about, I believe it was yesterday, as well as the day before, could actually connect to today. I'm going to go rather quickly today. Yes, on day 5, talked about what does it mean to reweave your life, and some of the tips that I gave there could actually be included in today, which is day 7. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. And like I said, today's inspiration is from page 281, and I'm entitling today, Learn the Music of Your Heart. This is going to be available for replay, so if you don't get a chance to watch it live, and you can watch this as many times as you want. I've been doing a lupus awareness inspiration for the past 6 days, and I will be doing it for the remaining days of May. So I've done is I've created a playlist of all of them, so you'll be able to just go back and click the playlist, and you'll be able to see the ones that you might have missed. All right, so day 7, page 281, and today's topic is Learn the Music of Your Heart. And I'm going to give you, I believe, 35 very simple tips of how you can connect to the music of your heart or learn the music of your heart. Actually, yes, 35. So I'm going to go rather quickly because I know it's the weekend, and not everybody wants to be here on a live stream, but they're very simple things that I'm going to encourage you to do. Okay. So 281. May I show you something? Here, sit with me by this stream. Now let's listen for a while. Hear that? Not the water. The way your heart sighs at the water song. Hear that? Learn the music of your heart sighing. Feed it the songs it hungers for. Life is a world of swirling music. Your soul is in this world to dance and sing. Surrender your life as a wallflower. Join the rhythm. Feel the beat. Open to the melody. Cry. Feel something. Stay by the water. Let it teach you what it means to flow. Much of your pain and suffering is your soul saying, "They are playing my favorite songs again. Can we please get up this time and lose ourselves in the ecstasy?" I mean, I really could just stop there, But I do want to give you a few tips on, well, how do you learn the music of your heart? And one of those things is, for me, water, sitting beside the water, that's what nature in general is my teacher, right? So I'm inspired by sitting by the water, by doing nature walks and that sort of thing, right? All right, so what are those things that have kind of grabbed your heart in the past and just kind of won't let you go? I'm going to encourage you to rely on those things to restore your faith in humanity, your faith in your ability to heal, your faith in God, and use them to help you to see the beautiful things once again. Things when you've been diagnosed with a chronic illness, or maybe you're just in a really tough time of your life, it can be really hard to, kind of connect with the music of your soul, the music of your heart, and even listening to that rhythm that is constantly going on within you, right? So I know that there are challenges, but you can, and I'm going to give you some simple tips. So on those days where that ding just reminded me to turn my phone down. So on those days when you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling like everything is just kind of leaving you feeling empty and kind of defeated. Hoping these simple suggestions will kind of help you to reconnect to your heart once again, right? These are not anything that are going to be so difficult for you to do. They're very simple. So in order to help you to make a mindset shift, you have to remind yourself there's still some good left in there. Even though we've been diagnosed with whatever we're going through, whatever it is that we're going through, there is still good left out there in the world, right? And we have to um, do simple mindset shifts in order to reconnect to those things that we find that are soothing for our soul, that are soothing for our heart, right? And we have to be willing to see it, to see those things, and also allow our hearts to feel those things, right? So, very simple tips. First tip, and I mentioned this a few days ago in another episode, is walking through nature. Take a walk through nature. Connect with nature, connect to the trees, hug a tree, walk beside the water, listen to the water. If there are birds out there, sit down and just watch the birds, listen to the bird songs, that sort of thing. Okay. Smell the air. There's this, almost a cliche phrase now, stop and smell the roses, right? So many of us think that it's a cliche, but it really does help us to reconnect to who we are. So if you're in an area where there are a lot of flowers, stop and smell the flowers, right? As long as they're not poisonous, some can be. So do be careful. But the idea is to really just get out in nature and allow yourself to reconnect with nature, right? We are meant to connect to nature. The second one is give yourself some you time, some me time, right? And sorry, something went down the wrong throat, wrong place. Give me 1 second. So the second tip is to give yourself some you time, some me time, whatever that looks like for you. But yesterday I talked about a simple meditation that we can do called the five senses meditation, where you look at 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can let me go back. But the idea is to go through each of the different senses. I completely forgot what they are, but they you know what your 5 senses are. You just kind of go through and you sight, list a couple things that you can see. Smell, what do you smell? Maybe it's oh yeah, I got a good whiff of that. The perfume that I made a few days ago and I just put on, right? So I can smell that. Okay, so smell. Taste, what am I tasting? This drink that I'm having right now. What am I feeling? Oh, I felt the coolness of the bottle as I picked that up. I can feel the texture of the jeans that I'm wearing. So that's touch. And what's the last one? Hearing. What am I hearing? I can hear the humming of the AC unit outside my window. So go through all of the 5 senses and just kind of help you to get present like that once again, right? So that is number 2, giving yourself some me time, or you can, using the 5 senses meditation as an example. Number 3, reminisce about some of the happiest times of your life, whatever those might be. It could be the birth of your child. It could be your wedding day. It could be a particular trip that you took. So relish in the memory of those and let those memories warm your heart. And I know for me, definitely giving birth to my 3 kids, but I took a trip back when I was 17, was it, about 17 years old. I went to Taiwan. It was a group of us from throughout the Caribbean and different parts of the world, and that was an unforgettable trip because I'm now 53 and still talking about it. Some of the places that we saw, some of the things that we did, that was just an unforgettable trip for me. So reminisce in those memories that you have, the happiest times of your life. So go ahead and just relish in those and let those memories warm your heart. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4: do something kind for someone else, and you'd be amazed at how that can warm your heart. And one of the things I love to do, especially if I'm traveling, when I'm driving, I'll pay for a lot of the roads that I take have tolls, right? So what I do is I pay for my toll. If it's a toll booth where I have to stop, physically give the money to the person, I will pay for mine, and then I'll pay for the person behind me. So something as simple as that. And I've had cases where as soon as I pay for mine and the person behind, I would just take off because, you know, I've had in the past where the person actually drove really fast to try to catch up just to say thank you. But I'm there like it's $1.25. It's really not that big of a deal, but you'd be amazed at just how much it helps the other person, how grateful they are for that simple, that simple gesture, right? So it could be paying a toll. It could be paying for groceries for the person behind you in line. It could be just giving somebody a hug. It could be a simple smile to a stranger. And you never know what a lot of people are going through. So that simple smile that you give to someone could, elevate their day. You never know what it can do, right? You never know. Number 5 is go outside at night and stargaze. And I don't think that I'm the only one who does that anymore, right? So pick a night when it's nice and clear, there are not a lot of clouds in the sky, and just go outside. And if you're comfortable, lay on the grass or get a lawn chair, just lay down and just stargaze. And it's even better if you do it with somebody that you care about, right? So just go and do some stargazing. Simple. Number 6, give a stranger a compliment. Watch how it changes their whole demeanor, right? I know there are times when I give compliments to just anybody, doesn't matter. I could see a beautiful woman, I would say, listen. I think sometimes you have to almost clarify, listen, don't take this the wrong way, but I think you have the most gorgeous eyes, right? Um, because you never know. But giving a compliment to a stranger, again, you never know just how much it would just elevate their day and make them feel so, so good. Because you never know what people are going through on any given day, right? Tip number 7, go to the beach and collect seashells. I still have a container of seashells. I can tell you where they came from based on the particular shell and the container that they're in, right? I can tell you what little island I visited. And just that's the seashell itself opens up a whole story, right? Because it takes you back to when you're planning for that trip, actually taking the boat ride and getting to the little island, collecting the seashells, coming back, stopping and watching the sun go down, and then proceeding on, watching the pelicans. So you see that one seashell just brought up a whole ton of memories, right? So go to the beach, collect seashells. Very simple, but it can, really generate a whole ton of memories. Number 8 is volunteer at a hospital, at a nursing home, volunteer at a hospice center. Just helping others helps you to realize just how great you might have it, right? I spent the whole of last year, most of last year, volunteering with hospice. I was helping to take care of a mother and daughter, and both of them have since passed. But just having, hospice here on a regular basis and volunteering with them, helping them, and just I learned so much more than I really anticipated about the whole transition aspect of dying. Let's just put it bluntly. Um, And it really does open your eyes up to how, just how good things are in my life, and the whole, just being able to be here with those two ladies, being able to help them in the way that they needed help. um, and they weren't in hospice like the whole time. It got to that place, but just being here, being able to help them, and they also helped me quite a bit as well. So I'm very grateful for that. But I'm grateful for all the lessons learned throughout that whole period, right? So volunteering, hospital, nursing home, even going to like a community kitchen, like a soup kitchen, and volunteering there. That is also really good. Number 9, putting on your favorite music and just dancing. Just dance. That did be amazed at just how much better you feel no matter what you're going through. Just how much better you feel when you put on your favorite music and just dance around. Number 10, spend time in your sacred space, or if you don't have a sacred space, create a sacred space. Create that space where you can go grab your favorite cup of tea, a favorite book, favorite blanket, your comfy blanket, and just relax, right? Just help to bring the stress level down. So just if you don't have a sacred space, or you're a cozy corner, however you want to call it, then create one. But if you already have one, then just give yourself some time in that space, whether it's 5 minutes, an hour, however long you think you might need, right? Tip number 11, let the child in you come out to play. What does that look like? That could look like anything. It could be grabbing a coloring book and sitting there and coloring. It could be grabbing jacks. I don't know if anybody remembers the jacks. I love to play jacks. I also love to play marbles. It could be playing hopscotch. It could be doing the hula hoop. Whatever it means for you to allow your inner child to come out and play. It could be walking in a puddle. It could be singing in the sunshine. Could be playing in the rain, singing in the rain. It could be going outside and talking to birds, or hanging out with the birds, like I like to do. It could be riding on a carousel, right? You go this time of the year. There are quite a few state carnivals that are happening. So it could be just going to the carnival and getting on those the Ferris wheel or the carousels that might be there, and just play, right? Go as a family. Your kids are going to enjoy it. Be that kid as well, right? Tip number 12, create a personal statement that defines your life and live by it. So every day you have your personal statement, you read it, you live by it. Now this doesn't mean that it's written in stone. This is one that you can change at any time, right? So if your personal statement is different tomorrow than what it might have been 5 days ago, that is perfectly fine. This is your personal statement. So know your purpose every day and focus on it. Live by it. Tip number 13, watch feel-good movies, or search through the news and find feel-good stories to watch. I don't, I try not to watch the news, at least not like constantly, right? Put on the news and sit there and just have it bombard me. I am well aware of what's going on, but I don't necessarily sit and just completely be bombarded by the news on a regular basis, because that is really not good for your immune system. It's not good for your immune system, but it's not good for your nervous system. And if it's not good for your nervous system, if it's going to constantly put you into that fight or flight state, then of course that's also going to impact your immune system, right? That was tip number 13. Tip number 14, go for an afternoon picnic, or just simply go to your backyard and have a picnic in the backyard if you can do that, right? You don't have to necessarily travel somewhere to do a picnic. The idea is to change your surroundings, change the way that you do things. So if you normally sit around your table and have your meal, and you have a nice backyard, maybe just take the dinner to the backyard, trying to avoid birds and all those sort of things. But that's the idea of it, is just to do something different, right? Do something different. Tip number 15, go for a bike ride. And there's a quote from John F. Kennedy, where he once said, "Nothing compares to the simple pleasures of a bike ride." Right? Tip number 16, plant pots of brightly colored flowers. And this again ties around the idea of, stop and smell the roses, but having pots of just bright colors around, or if you have a garden, you have an area where you can garden, just, put in some nice bright colors, kind of just elevate the way that your home looks on the outside, but it also brings you pleasure. And if you can, cut, do some cut flowers, make some arrangements, and bring them indoors as well, right? Tip number 17, watch stand-up comedians on YouTube. Clean ones, of course, especially if you have children around, right? You want to make sure that it's family friendly. So find your favorite comedian. I know George Carlin, I think is his name. He's fairly okay. There's quite a few others that you can pull up on there. All right, tip number 18 is to create a collage of family pics. Now, that's one of the things I love to do, and I have a really big collage that I did many years ago. So I kind of need to do a more updated one now. So I've been gradually kind of working on that. I'm also working on putting together albums for each of my children. So I know we all have our phones and we have all of the pictures in the phone, but I still like to physically flip through and sit down and look at the physical pictures rather than have them on the phone. So that's just something I like to do. So that's one of the tips. Create a collage of family pics that you can, hang on your wall or, lean up against it, however you make it work for you. Tip number 19, bring in fresh flowers and plants indoors. And I mentioned that in the tip number 16, in planting the brightly colored flowers and bringing those indoors as well. Tip number 20, very, very simple. Blow bubbles. Have you ever seen how kids just enjoy blowing bubbles? I get a big kick out of watching kids just blow bubbles, right? And I enjoy it, right? I know when my granddaughter is here, I have tons of little bubbles, bottles of the bubble solution, and the little, things that you dip in and you blow. And we have the most fun just blowing bubbles. And even when her dad was younger, all my kids, they all enjoyed blowing bubbles. So it's a simple tip, it's not going to hurt anyone, and it's going to definitely make you feel so good just to get a bottle of the bubble solution, dip, and just have fun blowing. And if you don't want to blow it, just take it, swing it around, and just allow the air passing through creates bubbles in there on its own. Tip number 21, do the hula hoop. Do the hula hoop. Right? Simple, do the hula hoop. Tip number 22, give a just because gift to someone you love, right? And remember, we're talking about just different ways of just celebrating life, right? Learning to listen to the music of your heart, right? These are just simple tips that I'm giving you to kind of, and I know some of these might sound so simple, but I think a lot of us, we think that it has to be difficult, but it's not. It's a very, very simple tips that do help you to feel good on a deep level. I'm looking, I think I see the gator. There's a gator in the lake back, and it just kind of popped up. All right. That was tip number 22, give a just because gift. Tip number 23, have your portrait painted. I've actually done this for quite a few people. Those of you who don't know me, I am an artist, in addition to all of the other hats that I wear. And I've done portraits, I've painted portraits of a few people. And I've also had my own portrait painted by, gosh, I think about 13 people. I sat for a group of artists several years ago, and I have quite a few of those. Some painted, some did charcoal, some did pencil, and I have a few of them that were done. And when you sit, and I was walking the street. Funny story here for a minute. I was walking the street, and I was known for wearing hats back in those days. And this lady came up to me, um, Miss Charlotte. She's since passed on. Wonderful woman, great artist. And she came up to me. She says, "You have this amazing look. Would you mind sitting for, you know, to be sitting for my class, right?" And I was like, "Really? How long? How many? You know, all of that stuff." And it turned out that I think there were about 11. I think there were about 11 different artists in there. And she said the only thing is you have to come in dressed exactly as you're dressed right now, especially the hat. So I actually sat twice, once with the hat and once without the hat. I had a lot more hair then, so you know there are some cases where some of them actually have my hair painted on. But it was a very interesting time. So if you've never had the chance, get your portrait painted. Um, but if you can't do that, my next tip is to be photographed by a professional photographer. And I've had both done. And every year, actually, I think I've shared this story before, that every year since I think I was about 43 when I was told um, by my one of my doctors at the time, no longer my doctor, that I would probably be dead by the time I was 45. So I said, you know what, I'm going to be documenting my entire lupus journey. So I'm going to do it in pictures as well. So I made the decision to have a photo shoot every year on my birthday. So my first one was, I think I was 43, and I continued to do it. I did a pretty big one when I was 45, and then I have one scheduled for my 53rd this coming week. So I've been doing it. The only year I did not do it was last year, but I've done it every year since, right? So have your portrait painted, be photographed by a professional photographer, either one of those, or both if you can do it. Tip number 25, plan your fantasy vacation. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a fantasy vacation that you never go on, right? But it's going to be planned in a fantasy vacation that you may not necessarily think you're capable of going on. But listen, plan your fantasy vacation. You're going to get cutouts, cut out pictures from different magazines. You know, if you were to go on a fantasy vacation, where would you want to go? Find images of places in that location from wherever you want. Either print them out online, cut them out of magazines, have them available. Go to the travel agency and get brochures of the places where you want to travel to. Plan your trip down to the last detail. Don't censor anything about this trip. Don't censor anything about yourself by thinking about the cost or when you're going to be able to go. Just plan this trip out. I mentioned I have a vision board here. Create this fantasy vacation on a vision board. Money is no object and time is no object, right? So plan your fantasy vacation. Tip number 26 is bake something decadent. Then enjoy it and savor every bite. I have something in there right now. I told my daughter the other day, I said, I have to bake this. And this, we were going to do it on my birthday, which was a few days ago. But I didn't have eggs. And I don't eat eggs, but I wanted to do this particular one. I was trying to figure out how I could do it completely vegan because I am vegan. But I said, you know what? Maybe I just go ahead with the putting the eggs in. But then I changed my mind. So now I'm kind of trying to rework it to where I can still create this dish without the eggs and have it be just as decadent. I'm sure it will. So I will let you know how that goes. But the idea behind this is now just bake something decadent and enjoy it. Savor every bite. That was tip number 26. Tip number 27, skip rocks. Go down to the beach, Go down to a riverside, go down to the lake, find yourself some nice smooth rocks. Make sure there's, you're not going to hurt anyone when you're skipping the rocks, or um, not hurt any animals that might be out there. But that again is kind of bringing out the, your inner child and allowing your inner child to play a little. That's one of the things I love to do, is just skipping rocks, and see how many times you can get that rock to skip on the water, right? Tip number 28, go to a botanical garden and just walk around and enjoy all of the different types of plants that there might be. One of my favorite places to go to is the Marie Selby Botanical Gardens in Sarasota. It is amazing, and there's a tree there that I actually lay on the root. And when I tell you, the roots of this tree are so immense, it's just incredible. And I've posted images of me just lying on this one root, and that will give you kind of the scale of the rest of the roots, the root system, and the tree. But the variety of different plants that were there. And one of the things that amazed me was how they tied in. There was a special exhibit at the time with Salvador Dali, and they created three-dimensional works of art based on Salvador Dali's works, various works by him, but they turned them into three-dimensional pieces, utilizing the plants and the trees and then different three-dimensional objects. That it was just incredible. It really was. But just to go there and just if you can't get out into nature, if you're just surrounded by concrete, find yourself a botanical gardens that you can go to. And that's a whole other way of getting, bathed with nature, just enjoying all of the different variety of plants and flowers. And there's also water there that, and they might have water features, koi ponds, who knows, right? Even butterfly gardens. That's one of the things I remember from being at Marie Selby Gardens, was being in this huge encasement, just a giant netting, and I'm just surrounded by butterflies. Really gorgeous. Tip number 29 is listen to Vivaldis' Four Seasons. Now, if you're into classical music, you're going to enjoy that. But if you're not, I'm going to encourage you to, find the recording on YouTube, or you'll be able to find it somewhere. So that's Vivaldis' Four Seasons. Listen to that. I was classically trained on the piano, so that's one of the things I love to listen to. So that's tip number 29. Tip number 30. Do something that gives you a sense of luxury. Now, we talked a little earlier about, planning that fantasy vacation, that it could be your luxury vacation, but something that gives you a sense of luxury. If you, if it's not the vacation, think about things like maybe renting a limousine for the day, right? You're going out to a particular party, rather than calling an Uber. Maybe you rent a limo, right? Something like that. Maybe you buy yourself a leather clad journal. I know there are people who love those type of books. Or maybe you have just that fancy pen. I have one that actually has a crystal at the top of it. Love it. Luxury for you might look different than luxury for me. So there are various things that you can do, right? So that's tip number 30. Tip number 31, watching the sunset. Find a place where you can just sit and enjoy the sun going down on any given day, right? Or every day. Tip number 32, watch the sunrise. And I spoke about that yesterday as well, making sure that we do get enough vitamin D. And one of the best times to do that is early in the morning, late in the evening, when the sun is going down. You're still getting the benefits of it, but you're not getting that, 12 to 2 p.m. Scorching heat, right? but but watching the sunset and watching the sunrise, there's just so much beauty in that. Just the way that the colors in the sky are so different. Right now I'm seeing blue and white pretty much, right, in the sky. In the evenings, it's like, I call God like the ultimate artist. All of these different colors and purples and oranges um, and pinks, right? Just kind of take over the whole sky. So that to me is like the best time. The best times of the day is just watch it in the morning as the sun is rising, or watching it in the evening as the sun is going down. Tip number 33, visit antique stores. I don't know about you, but I love going into antique stores, and I managed to do that, a little bit of that today. And there's a story behind, every item in there, right? And you pick up that item, and it's almost like you're whisked back in time to when this particular object was of some more importance, some more value, right? And you just kind of think about who might have utilized this particular thing, who were the different owners, that it might have gone through from the time that it was made, how many times it was sold or owned and then re-owned and passed on, that sort of thing, all of the different stories. So I love doing stuff like that, and things like that just kind of make me smile, just being able to interact with all of the different things in an antique store, right? Tip number 34 is playing frisbee with a friend or playing frisbee with a dog. Dogs are great catchers, and they'll jump up and catch it, they'll bring it right back to you, and then you throw it again. And it's just so much fun, and just it brings you joy. Just these simple things, right? Remember, we're talking about connecting to your heart, right? Tip number 35, really simple. If you're into this, have an ice cream cone. One of the things my grandbaby loves, and my kids do, there's an ice cream store that we love to visit over in Cocoa Village in Brevard County. We go in, and I can almost guess which particular ice cream that they're going to go for, because it's something that they've always done, right? But they have this one ice cream that they love, this flavor of ice cream that they love, so they gravitate toward that. But just, going to an ice cream store, and when I say, I'm not talking about going to Walmart or going to Publix or any grocery store and picking up a thing of ice cream and some cones, which is fine. I mean, you can do that, right? But the experience of going into these traditional ice cream stores where they have the big cases and the big tubs of ice cream, and you can pick, and they tell them how many scoops, and then they have the waffle cones or the traditional cones or the waffle cups, and you can choose. That's what I'm talking about. Just that little experience. It takes you back to childhood. And if you're enjoying it with the kids, but it's just these little things that just kind of warms your heart, right? So that was tip number 35. And like I said, those were 35 tips, just learning how to reconnect with your heart center. And that is it for today. Learning to listen to the music of your heart. And these are just little ways that you can reconnect, right? 35 tips, quick tips. And I know it was really quick today. Some of them I didn't really need to drag out, but you would get the gist. So today was day 7. Tomorrow, day 8, we are going to be talking about gratitude. And we spoke about it a little bit today, but tomorrow we'll go a little bit deeper into gratitude. And if you have a gratitude journal, I encourage you to bring it tomorrow. Or if you don't have a gratitude journal, I would encourage you to just find a book like this. It actually can be this little one here. It's got quite a few pages in it. Or you can just simply use one of these books and you can write on it, gratitude journal. You can get some nice stickers. You can decorate it however you want, and that would be your gratitude journal. So tomorrow Tomorrow's inspiration is about gratitude, and it is coming from page 113 of Fragrance After Rain by Dr. Jaiya John. So thank you for spending these past few minutes with me. I know it was rather quick. We went through a lot in those 35 minutes. But the replay is going to be available for you to come back and watch as much as you want. I've also gone back over the last few days and I've put all of those videos into a playlist. So I've been connecting the playlist to each of these videos. So if you missed any of the previous days, you can always catch the replay on those as well. If you have any questions at all, feel free to post them in the comment section. Reach out to me via direct message or on email. I did mention if anybody is curious or thinking about having their portrait painted, feel free to reach out to me on that as well. I did actually post a reel on Instagram today, and I know one of the portraits that I did is in the last reel that I posted there. So you can get an idea of my style as well. My style is different, I know. But you're willing to, if you're willing to kind of test the waters, just go ahead and check out what I've done in the past, and you can always reach out to me if that's something you're curious about. But if you're not wanting to have your portrait painted, I do encourage you at least once in your life have a really elegant photo shoot done with a professional photographer. Enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you tomorrow around the same time. I know it's Mother's Day, so most of you are going to be, enjoying time with your moms. So have a blessed time with that. But I will come on for a few minutes and share it tomorrow as well. And tomorrow will be day 8 of this lupus awareness, inspiration, and motivational time. All right. See you all and enjoy the rest of the weekend.